all of our speakers up to the stage. Happy Earth Day, everyone. GM. Crypto Novo, how you doing? Hi, Nicole.
Friendly Friday, everyone. Friendly Friday. Nicole, mic check.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Oh, good hearing your voice again. I just got out of a lunch meeting with you. Thank you. That was awesome stuff. I'm gonna play some.
I know, long time no talk.
I'm gonna play a little intro music. Wait for a couple more friends to come on. It's good seeing the old ones, the new ones, and everyone in between. Let's get this Earth Day Friendly Friday kicked off. It's a friendly Friday. I want to welcome everyone this Earth Day. And a lot of the times what we're doing in this Vayner NFT world is educating, and we just had a very educational lunch. And that's what we're trying to bring. Not only bring this education to the people listening, to our fans, to our friends, to our family, but also, to the people within Vayner who are doing the same thing, trying to make this Web3 space as best as it can be for not only right now, but future generations. And with that, we have leaders in the space making those changes. And what better time to talk about it than here on Earth Day? So not only these changes are spoken about today, but then also, and I'm a strong believer of being a product of my surroundings. I myself have turned off a couple lights and dimmed a couple things down on this Earth Day. And even my son wanted to hop in the car to ride to school today because it was raining, and we just grabbed the umbrellas and walked like just like any other day. So we're doing our part little by little, and we have great speakers up here today. Cool Blue, let's talk about it Friday. You want to give a little intro to our speakers and they can introduce themselves as well?
Woo woo, yes. Oh, we lost one. Bring it back. Yes. So as we do these Twitter spaces, we have it very open and conversational. So I will just go through amazing questions that we have. And if you have an answer or want to share something, have a story, just jump in, introduce yourself, and let us know. I know Ina only has a few minutes because we've also been talking for an hour already before this, and it's Earth Day. All of us are, and by all of us, I mean our speakers here are very busy and, busy changing the world in the NFT space. So thank you for that. So I think I want to start off hot today. I think I want to put everyone in the hot seat for a little. No warm-ups. Let's just get straight to the point because I have one burning question on my mind. It is the hottest question that my non-NFT native friends and family ask me. And, you get into some heated debates over this one. So if you know, I am wondering from our speakers, it's the environmental concerns of the NFT space. So people who are saying, oh, I don't like NFTs because they're not good for the environment, or NFTs are destroying the world. How can you bring to be there? How can you be an activist there? I want to hear, how do you all respond to this question? How do you respond to these critiques of blockchain in an environmental context? So let me know. Please jump in. I don't want to put anyone on the spot too soon. Maliha, you raised your hand. Yes, hello. Please introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, and yeah, let us know how you respond to these critiques.
Hey Leslie, hey everyone. Really honored and excited to be on this incredible panel of brilliant people from the NFT space. and just seeing familiar community members in the audience as well. So it's always a great time. So I guess I'm going to answer this question from an artist perspective, and I'm sure I'm going to get to learn a little bit from my fellow panelists over here as well, from coming from different perspectives as well. So I guess I'm going to start by asking the question that how do artists influence our society? And artists influence our society in many ways. Art has the power to ignite hope and just getting us through a very tough time as well, no matter what conflict you're talking about, whether you're talking about something personal you're going through or whether you're talking about wars even. So we have seen art emerge and ignite hope in people's hearts and minds during the most difficult times in our history. Art influences our society by changing opinions, translating experiences across borders. It's a language that you really don't need to, speak the same language in order for us all to understand art. And so at the beginning of the pandemic, there was an article that came out that was talking about the most kind of careers or professions that are not that useful, because there was a lot of conversation around how people's lives are going to change financially, economically, what professions people need to transition into, all of that stuff. Being an artist was number one in that article and in that graphic, and to think that that graphic was created by an artist as well. So the point I'm trying to hear is that even during the pandemic, we have seen artists emerge and make sense of all of the different things that we as humans around the world were feeling. And again, in the history of humankind as well, art has made sense of like a lot of things. Whether you're talking about, again, like any kind of conflict, or whether you're talking about human history, whether you're talking about understanding a language, but through pictures we were able to understand like various parts of our history. So that's the value of art, at least like in my mind. And I have seen, I have come from like a place where sometimes people don't value art just because it doesn't really tell you how much money you can make immediately, which is why artists are taken for granted sometimes. They have been exploited in traditional art fields as well. Now, when it comes to NFTs, even though this is a space for everyone, everybody's welcome here, every kind of profession, every kind of, and of course, this is an ever-evolving place. NFTs are supposed to be a revolution for artists. They're supposed to remove the middleman. They're supposed to create more opportunities for artists. Artists are supposed to have like a direct relationship with their collectors. So this question about how do you answer the criticism that NFTs are destroying the environment or our planet is unfair to me. And the reason is because this question is not factually correct. This question should actually be talking about blockchain and the technology of blockchain that has existed way before NFTs were even, big in the media and all of those things. So if you are so passionate about talking about this topic, firstly, we need to change the language around it. We need to talk about blockchain in general. We need to talk about Ethereum and Bitcoin to start with. And then we need to talk about capitalism. We need to talk about the people and how this space in general is like innovating things, but how like the environment in general is not just a issue that has to do anything with that just has to do with blockchain or that has to do with one industry. So I guess when it comes to artists, they shouldn't be at the top of the list of you attacking, the people, the artists. I feel like it should be something like artists shouldn't be, for example, like harassed for creating NFTs or for being able to make a living, because again, it's supposed to be a revolution for artists. This conversation shouldn't start with artists. I feel like anybody who
we have a hand here. Do you have something? We have someone from Polygon here too. I'd love to hear. What do you want to dox yourself? Feel free to jump in. Thank you.
No, yeah, hi everyone. I'm Jaslyn from Polygon and currently leading the whole initiative on sustainability at Polygon and beyond carbon, really. So about ESG, so environment, social and also governance. So really, really beyond carbon. I really echo what you said just now. And so wanted to kind of dive a bit deeper into kind of like blockchain, like you mentioned, right? So like, I agree, it's not really fair. And so I think it was on the 12th of Tuesday in April. So Polygon announced a green manifesto. So what this is essentially saying that Polygon is not only carbon neutral, but we're going to go beyond that to be carbon 2022. So obviously that's kind of like, okay, what does this mean for us? If we're kind of like a project or a user of NFTs, right? So that means that every single NFT that's minted, every single token that's bridged onto Polygon, like every single business building on Polygon is accounted for. And so I think that's extremely powerful because this is the first time that's ever happened in entire history, right? Where a blockchain is actually setting the standard for the entire Web3, industry. And we're really working together with so many organizations to build this standard to measure the emissions and, how to really go about doing this the correct way, as opposed to kind of just throwing a bunch of FUD, like you said, around, NFTs being bad for the environment. So, and I think, we're moving the right direction as a whole as, for Web3 and NFTs. I am actually really excited to, hear from the other speakers on the panel. And I know that there's, other questions that the community is dying to ask as well. So I just wanted to share that. And I think there's many things happening in the space, actually.
Yeah, and Maliha, we lost you for a second. I'm inviting you back up. But yeah, it's so true. It doesn't seem fair to artists. And Nicole, who has her hand up, is another artist in the space. So please, jump in. Let us know what you think. And Maliha, let me know. All right, I think we got you back. Oh, okay. I'll work on bringing Maliha back. And Nicole, hello.
Hi everyone. Hi, thank you so much for having me. Happy Earth Day. I love hearing what everyone's saying, and there's so many layers to this, and really, it's leading me to think about just the layers of healing and the layers of transformation. When we transform or heal anything, it's a process, and usually what needs to happen is all of the kind of the yucky stuff, for lack of better words, needs to come up first in order for it to be, dealt with. So, I'm constantly answering that question. Well, NFTs are so bad for the environment, and that's like the first thing. My own dad didn't want to compose some music for my stuff because he didn't want to be associated with NFTs. So, and for that reason, because of the environmental kind of reputation, the negative environmental impact reputation. So I found that really, that speaks volumes to me. So, what I say to him and to other people that I speak with all the time is that, this is a process, and, it's going to catch up with itself very quickly, in the sense that the technology is going to catch up with itself. But most importantly, the positive impact that it has outweighs that negative impact. I mean, we're all involved in so many industries every day, all the time, whether it's plastics, whether it's, petroleum, just so much stuff that has such a negative on the environment. But because it's so natural, it's so conditioned, we're not thinking about it all the time. So this is actually a great opportunity. It's like, yeah, it does have a negative impact, just like a lot of other things that we do, and we need to change that. And so we're the perfect people, we're the ones we've been waiting for to do just that. So that's one thing. What I've been personally doing, I mean, I've been working with Ethereum. I love Polygon. I think it's incredible, and I want to work more with Polygon, and I plan on doing that. Is I've been giving, I will continue to do this, giving a portion from every project to the carbon fund with reforestation. So at least you kind of get zero carbon neutral. So you're doing something. It's basically, I loved what Maliha was saying about, capitalism itself. And, in my mind, capitalism is an extractive culture. And we need to transform that and be, this space, the NFT space, crypto, blockchain technology. The thing that I find one of the most powerful things that I find about it is the culture itself of collaboration. And what that actually is that going out of domination culture and into partnership culture. And so, we need to, that's the relationship that we need to change, not just with blockchain, not just with money, not with the earth herself, that we're in partnership. So, I think this is actually very exciting. So that's the attitude I take. It's like, hey, we're not pure, we're none of us are completely innocent, none of us are completely guilty. We're all here together and we're all changing it.
That is so beautiful. Couldn't agree more. And Ina actually was saying something a little earlier similar about there's a lot that we are doing that's not fantastic for the environment, but we just try to offset it sometimes, and we just try to basically make our positive efforts and our good efforts outweigh some of the things we do that aren't so exciting or helpful for the environment. Ina, do you want to speak to that for a moment? I know we have you for a short amount of time.
Hi, everyone. Yes, this is such an interesting question, and that I'm actually working on a day-to-day basis. And I really love what everyone has said. And to add to that is, it's a journey. This is such a young industry, and the NFT space have been having these bad reputations because it's people who don't know sometimes well the technology and also everything that we can do with it. The for good, the force that we can harness the creativity and the space to do outweighs the negative. And there are options. If you're, I love Polygon, I love different blockchains, but I'm conscious that the main blockchain for the NFT ecosystem is Ethereum. So we have to work with that sometimes, and that means that we have to find the tools to balance out not just the carbon footprint, but also pair it with investing in people, because that's the way that we can also have an impact. I'm not talking about, carbon credits and other types of offsetting that can be seen as greenwashing, but really invest into climate solution organizations, people who are living on the front line of climate change. It's not by handing them funds like that. It's investing in their projects and help them reverse the negative impact that the climate is having on their lives, and also help them create innovative solutions that in the end will help us all. Because one thing is that we have just one planet, and we have this butterfly effect, is that something that happens on the side of the planet can have an absolute devastating impact on the other side. For example, I've been working on a project called the Great Green Wall, and it's in a region where the carbon emissions are less than 10% of the total world. But in that region, you can see most of the most devastating impact of climate. And these people are managing to create solutions that someone else on the other side of the globe has created with their life. And something that is super interesting to me is that this is a young industry which is already addressing sustainability. We have entries that are, have been here forever and who are still not looking into sustainability. And for that, there is fashion and other stuff. But we have to know that the NFT space is really actively finding solutions to become more sustainable, to address climate injustice and social injustice. So I think we are on a right path to really make a change and to embark in this journey and be somewhere that a lot of industry will not be in a few years.
One thing that stood out with me from the time that we had at lunch as you were speaking with coworkers at Vayner was, this is new technology, and with new technology, you can create new solutions. And one key thing that you brought up is investing in those people, not just dumping them funds, but investing in that community and those people. Maybe a question for the panel is, from your standpoint as leaders in the space, how community has led your how you're approaching projects for the future. So, what is philanthropy and activism look like in the Web 3.0, based around the communities that you guys have created?
Yeah, Ina.
I see it as really a partnership. It's really part of my work is creating a bridge between communities in the NFT space and communities in real life. It's to create long-term partnerships and support the initiatives that are, being created in both spaces. And just dumping funds will not help, but really vetting and finding the most innovative projects and supporting them. And that will inspire other projects to do the same. And I think that it also, because the NFT space is so global, there are people coming together from all around the world. So we have a better understanding of what needs to be done because we are communicating with each other and we are sharing ideas. That is something that is super important, is that we all have a voice in this space. And our voices are equal to one another. And so that opens the door for so much dialogue. And also we improve what has to be done. If there's something that we are doing that is not effective, we have the power to just switch up to something else, because the space goes very fast and there is not all this layer of heavy administration and stuff like that. We have DAOs and we have places where the communities come together and decide, and that is something that I strongly believe in. And we've seen it in the past few months, few weeks on finding solutions for Ukraine, or when there are emergencies like climate emergencies, people coming together and doing something. I believe in this kind of partnerships.
We invited up a listener pretty much from day one, Hizzy, mic check 1 2 1 2. You have a question, thought, concern, or idea?
In the house.
Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Stephen House. I go by Izzy. I'm out of Houston and I take photographs. But I kind of have a practical answer to this, in that the blockchain is quantifiable. It's brand new. We can quantify the amount that it takes to do transactions. If we try to quantify what it takes to have every Visa machine or every receipt stored on in a database somewhere, it's kind of hard to come up with those numbers. And I just think sometimes when we're trying to onboard people, we can sometimes just revert to a simple answer, in that it's a new technology and can quantify it, and they're working on new ways to get it better.
Thank you for that. Really good point. Thanks for sharing. I also saw Maliha. I think you had unmuted earlier. Did you want to add something? Oh, I think I saw Nicole as well. It's one of you guys want to please. Hey.
Oh, hey, I actually forgot that. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Well, we can also ask, one question I'm really curious about is to hear, what does philanthropy or activism look like in Web3? Because whenever I think of it very IRL, volunteering, being there in person. So what are some ways that it can take place with just as much of an impact or larger in Web3.
Right. So firstly, I agree with what Anna and Nicole said. I think they made some amazing points. So I think with activism Web3, definitely it's not just about picking a random, there is no secret there's a lot of wealth being generated in this space, and but I definitely think it's not like, the solution isn't to just kind of like randomly pick a chat that in your roadmap. It's like, bringing your real world experience into the Web3 space and seeing like, okay, what are the communities that you truly care about? What are the causes you truly care about? And how can you collaborate with those organizations? This is of course separate than the conversation around the environment. So if we're talking about activism, so for example, Women Rise is really focused on girls' education, and we are only working with organizations that we have been working with for a very long time, because we know where the money is going, we know the staff, we know how we can work with them and communicate with them, and through them communicate with their communities about Web3, but also about basic girls' education. And I think really that kind of hands-on collaboration is really, really important, and that can make a huge difference, because I think sometimes people that Web3 is this completely separate space that has nothing to do with our existing lives, and it's like this utopia that's supposed to be perfect. But the truth is that Web3 is not completely here yet. We are still building it, and so a huge part of it is going to be connected to the lives that we have been living for a very long time. I do want to apologize for I realized that I kept on going, so I do want to apologize for that. And yeah, so that's gonna be my answer for this question.
You're excited about it. It's all right. It's not a big deal at all.
Here for this is called, yeah.
Oh, hi, no problem, no. I think one of the most exciting first philanthropic projects I ever did was my dolphin commemorative painting NFT, which became a hologram, an animated hologram. Then I partnered with Open Earth Foundation, and then we collaborated with a bunch of other artists, and we created the Ocean Drop, which then raised money to protect the dolphins off a sanctuary off of the Cocos Islands near Costa Rica. And that was a perfect example of this kind of snowball effect, multi-dimensionality to how philanthropy works in Web3, in the sense of it isn't just about the cause. Yes, it's about the cause and the point of the cause, but it's also about what it generates in the community and the actions and the relationships, and how that's transforming the economy, the technology, the culture, and allowing all of those things to actually activate and function. And the big word, the utility of all those things actually becomes a tool. It actually is the tool to make those changes. For example, being with Veritas about the Dreamverse project, we were trying to figure out a way at the very end to get my dolphin hologram there, and we were having some roadblocks getting the actual portal hologram box there, and I was having a conversation with him, and we ended up not actually having it at the event, but through my conversation with him, that's what actually sparked. I'm like, I think I should get this animated. And then I had already been working with an animator in Uganda, which was incredible, Raymond Malinka, who's a Disney animator out of Uganda, the first African Disney animator. Called him up and said, would you be willing and interested in doing this? And he said, absolutely. And then that's how it became animated. So it's so much more organic, like we've said. I've heard a few people say, like, it's much more IRL, it's much more real. It's not just some weird kind of other space that doesn't affect our lives. My world and my life in real life, in real time, is so much all about this. So it's both inner and outer and everywhere.
It does come back to the new solutions, like we were saying, and just finding that and that organic growth, finding the plugins that are helping, grow this industry. Very similar to the Great Green Wall that that, that's going to be grown. That's just going to be one of the largest living things to help the cause. And that's what it is branching these ideas together, finding the commonality behind it and pushing forth. And that's, the discussion points behind today, the discussion points why we had, a lunch and learn today hosted by Cool Blue. She set it all up so that we can learn interdepartmental, and then we can bring those types of learnings to our clients so we can better give them a better understanding of what's out there to either have a carbon offset, to be carbon neutral, or just push in that mindset at least. So it's at least within their grasps and their understanding.
And to find an organization, if you do decide to bring in a philanthropic effort to your project, it's also about finding an organization that aligns with you and your community, like Maliha was saying before. I want to bring up my next question of how do you think we can scale the NFT space, but in a maybe more sustainable way, but maybe it really is just about philanthropy. How can we do good in this space? Would love to hear thoughts here, and would love to hear, Jocelyn, more about how Polygon is looking at the future, because you really are building it in some of the best ways.
Yeah, and honestly, like Polygon, we've been thinking about it, but in all honesty, we're also trying to figure it out, right? I think we all? Yeah, exactly. So it's really like working with research institutions, and also working with, for example, ICROA. So they do kind of like blockchain, they blockchain emissions. So calculating it and then setting the standard, and then how you're supposed to like go about with carbon credits, these sort of things. And so that really sets the standard for not just Web3 companies, if I were to say that, but also really Web2 companies who are utilizing public blockchains. So that's one area in which we're looking into. That's in a more, in a more scalable fashion, as you mentioned, because we understand that as our community grown, which is pretty much ballooned at such a incredible rate, we understand our role in not just in Web3 but in society, really. So that's one of the areas which we're working with. Now we're also thinking about actually hiring someone such like a chief sustainability officer to really spearhead this, because we take this really seriously at Polygon. And so, yeah, I mean, just kind of like putting it out there. If you know anyone who's really passionate about sustainability and really about doing good for our home, do send them my way or Polygon's way, and happy to see how we can work together. Yeah.
Amazing. I love that effort. Nicole, see your hand raised.
Hi, I just want to say, I'm not sure if everyone knows this. I actually just learned this recently, but philanthropy means the love of humanity. So it's interesting, we associate, philanthropy with philanthropic efforts with financial impact, economic impact. And yes, that's correct. And it's about the love, and the key word in there, the love of humanity. So, doing what we do with love, it's so powerful, creating, sacred commerce, sacred partnerships, relationships, how we communicate, the pace at which we're going. I know that this world is moving super fast, and it's super beautiful, moving at the speed of light, and slowing down and really connecting to the integrity of what we are doing. I love hearing that Polygon is taking this so seriously, and I will think if there's someone that I think could help you guys out in that direction department. But anyways, focusing on the love is super important.
What do you think? I love that you said that. Thank you so much, Nicole. And when you think about how some of the dare I say, toxic traits of the NFT space. I mean, some of the FUD that goes around. What are some practices, do you think, that we can use to share more love?
Well, I mean, I think, I think this is the space for sharing love. I think that, this is, look, I think that we as a world have been deprived of the freedom and the sovereignty to share who we are authentically. So just like I was talking about in the beginning with all healing and transformation, there's going to be a detox. There's going to be a detoxing process, and it has to catch up with itself. And I think that, I think the greatest thing we can do is really come back to our values, our principles, our ethics, and really remember and forgive ourselves when we might fall out of those moments. I'm not sure who said it, but it's like, hey, if you aren't doing something right, or if you realize, that wasn't the best way to do it, I can change it. I can change it fast, and I can do it right away. And that's what I love about this space as well, is it's forgiving, it's transforming, it's changing. So, off the top of my head, for me personally, in order to meet the amazing opportunities that this space is offering me creatively every single day, it's actually gotten me back into my own spiritual practice and a deeper practice of self-care, so that I can meet it halfway. So I can meet it from a healthy place. At one point I was overwhelmed with so much even positive energy, positive opportunity. But if I'm not taking care of myself, I can't actually meet it, and it becomes negative. So it's like, okay, hold on, slow down. You need to get your rest. You need to do all these things. So the inner work is the outer work.
I want to play a little bit off that. And sometimes, you need to unplug to be able to unplug. So you got to actually tune out and turn off the computer to be able to refocus in. And, it's something that I've actually spoken with Nicole about, prior to coming on Spaces today, is like, when is the time to unplug? How can you unplug? And sometimes that's like a good reset button. We have a hand up. Go for it.
Yeah, I think just to build on Nicole's point, I think that's a different kind of sustainability that we don't talk about, and how literally keeping up that kind of pace how that can cause people, not just their health, not just their mental health, but also you'll just hit burnout. And that's a different kind of sustainability that we just don't talk about in this space. And I think that was a really good point that Nicole made. And I think when we're talking about innovation and all the exciting things that are happening in the Web3 space and all of the opportunities people are getting, I think this conversation around how do we create a more sustainable culture for people's mental health and people's well-being in general is also an important one.
So important. It really does start with us. There's this, I don't know what you would even call it, fable, I don't know, but there's this saying of a man who tried to change the world. In this case it was a woman, probably, who tried to change the world and failed. So she went back to her community and tried to change her community and failed. So then she was like, okay, if I can't change my community, I'll try to change my family. She tried to change her family and failed. So then she said, if I can't change my family, I will work on changing myself. And she succeeded. Then she tried to help her family and she succeeded. Then she tried to help her community. She succeeded until ultimately she changed the world. And I love this saying or story or idea, because it goes to show that it really does start with one person. It starts with ourselves. And then, as Ina, who had to go, said, this butterfly effect, it's like one fire that sparks up an entire forest, right? So we can be that change. Now I'm getting very very passionate, but it's a great thing to think about. And I think that's probably one of the most important parts of making a difference in this space, that is that's so overlooked. We don't think, oh, what's something that I as a person can do right now in a simple way for myself? And that's where that self-care comes in. So thank you both so much for that. Nicole, I think I saw your hand up.
Yes. No, I think that, it's what I've been realizing is that, stress can actually come from people associate with stress with negativity, but stress can also come from positive energy as well. So it's really like clearing your channel so that you can allow it to flow. My grandmother used to say, honey, you can't come to the day with your cup full, or else nothing's going to go in. You don't have any space to receive. So all this amazing stuff can actually be overwhelming. So I think that, it's back to the kind of original point where it's like capitalistic society, extractive, mostly about taking and getting and having. And so in the same way that we're talking about the inner dimension, it's that same reflection of the outer dimension. It's like, well, how am I giving back to myself so that I can continue to create positive impact? How can I continue to contribute? And in that same way, treating the earth in that way. Because when we start, treating ourselves that way, and we don't disconnect ourselves from the earth, because we're literally connected by our feet, gravity. We are the earth. And we just happen to be in the form of human bodies that have this little bit of space in between us that gravity keeps us connected to. Anyways, that's just my little mini rant.
Beautiful. No, really beautiful. I'm so grateful for Earth Day, because not only does it fall on my lucky number day, 22, but it is a reminder of how connected we are to our planet and how connected we should be, even in this digital space. And as we're building digital worlds, it's important to keep in mind the physical world around us. So thank you both so much for being here. I think we should mic drop there. Crypto Nova, what do you think?
I don't know if we can better fill after what Nicole just said about the space.
Wait, you guys, actually, I would love to share. I would love to share a Navajo blessing, little prayer.
Oh, yeah,
that's
sweet.
Let's do it. So wait, before we go into it, then I will thank everyone for being here, just so we can officially mic drop after that, because I don't want to be jumping in after a beautiful blessing like that. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here, for joining today. Many of you who join every week. Thanks, Izzy, for jumping up here and chatting. Big shout out to the WomenriseNFT team. And again, thank you to our speakers for being here. Take it away, Nicole.
Okay, this is a Navajo blessing way prayer.
Oh, sorry, Nova. Oh. I think I cut off Crypto Nova. Were you going to say something?
I turned off my mic so I can listen. I'm ready.
Oh, there we go. Okay, yes. Take it away, Nicole.
Okay.
Make sure you had a clear stage.
All right, this is a Navajo blessing way prayer called Walk in Beauty. In beauty may I walk, all day long may I walk. Through the returning seasons may I walk. On the trail marked with pollen may I walk. With grasshoppers about my feet may I walk. With dew about my feet may I walk. With beauty may I walk. With beauty before me may I walk. With beauty behind me may I walk. With beauty above me may I walk. With beauty below me may I walk. With beauty all around me may I walk. In old age wandering on a trail of beauty, lively may I walk. In old age wandering on a trail of beauty, living again may I walk. It is finished in beauty. It is finished in beauty.
Beautiful. Goodbye, everyone.
Stay positive and love life. Peace.